Hello there, welcome back to the channel. If you've been around these parts for a while, then you might remember a video I put out a couple of years ago around the time of the Steam Deck's announcement. In it, I theorised that if the deck ended up being successful, then Valve could end up taking the fight directly to Sony, Nintendo and Microsoft by producing a home console variant, effectively revisiting their doomed Steam Machine concept from way back when. Well, fast forward to autumn 2024 and it's finally happening. Kinda. EmuDeck, producers of the absolutely fantastic EmuDeck's software, are pivoting into hardware. Only, it isn't their hardware, or their software, or even their design. This is a little strange. Allow me to elaborate. If you're unfamiliar, EmuDeck produce a tool that allows you to easily configure all of your retro emulators and front ends in just a couple of clicks. It was originally released exclusively for the Steam Deck, hence the name, but it has since been brought to Windows, iOS I believe, and it has firmly cemented itself as the go-to piece of software for this kind of thing. I use it as a base framework for my Every Game Ever on Deck series, and it's been a real lifesaver at times. EmuDeck as a tool is good. EmuDeck as a hardware manufacturer, well, we're not exactly off to an amazing start. Over the week just gone, EmuDeck's socials began teasing an announcement and cryptically replying to those who took a swing at guessing what it would be. All of that mystery and intrigue eventually culminated in this, the EmuDeck machine. If you're looking at this and thinking, hang on, that looks as though a Dreamcast and a Mac Mini had a baby, then you're pretty much on the money. Its design is actually based almost wholesale off of an old prototype for the original Dreamcast. That original prototype was designed that way in order to accommodate a disk drive. The EmuDeck machine does not include a disk drive. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a step back for a second. The announcement of the EmuDeck machine was accompanied by a couple of noteworthy news articles and a very noteworthy Indiegogo campaign, which is looking for a not insignificant €62,900, that's a flexible goal by the way, to deliver the console in December of this year. To say that this is an ambitious project would be a massive, huge, enormous understatement. The EmuDeck machine is essentially a mini PC that comes in an AMD flavour and optionally with a weaker Intel chip. It runs Bazzite, which is a community-led fork of SteamOS, and it comes with a GameSir controller. So far, so standard, if I'm being brutally honest. The big hook associated with the EmuDeck machine is that it comes pre-installed with EmuDeck, free software that is mainly used in desktop mode. In an article written for The Verge by Sean Hollister, EmuDeck's founder Rodrigo Sedano lays out the console's roadmap. He admits that he has never shipped any hardware before, that his current prototype is a mini ITX board in a wooden box, that his EU and US partners claim he should complete his FCC and CE checks in just 1 month, and that he plans to assemble the machines himself. He also states that he doesn't necessarily expect to sell more than 100 of them as a side project. So what is this thing? Well, for starters, it's €760. That's for the higher end version of the machine in Europe. It's more expensive than the vast majority of similarly powered mini PCs out there, and you're not exactly getting anything unique for the money. It's all off-the-shelf parts, and whilst the developer of Bazzite has given Rodrigo and co his blessing to use the OS on the console, he isn't actively assisting with development. Supporters of the EmuDeck machine may claim that at this early stage, it's a scrappy underdog passion project, but goodness me, that is an expensive buy-in for something so nebulous. So nebulous, in fact, that the design of the console, arguably one of its key draws, has allegedly been put together by an AI, and doesn't even exist as a 3D CAD project yet. A couple of eagle-eyed X-heads replied to EmuDeck's original X post, pointing out some AI-specific quirks present in its prototype image. The official EmuDeck account replied, stating that it was heavily inspired by a Dreamcast prototype and that AI was used to, and I quote, clean it a bit. The Indiegogo campaign page claims that EmuDeck won't be testing 3D printed prototypes until late September. Surely I don't need to elaborate on why that doesn't come across very well, right? Look, I'll be honest, from a personal standpoint, my eyebrows were already recently raised at the realisation that EmuDeck's latest and greatest features are now paywalled behind a Patreon subscription. Will this new console come with that premium EmuDeck track out of the box, or will those who hand over 760 quid be slumming it with the rest of us? I had originally intended for this video to be a little more level-headed and middle of the road when it comes to my commentary, especially at this early stage in the project's lifespan. But the more time I spend thinking about this, the more it seems woefully misjudged at best and maliciously greedy at worst. The FAQ listed on the console's Indiegogo page mentions both the Steam Deck and SteamOS on 2 separate occasions across 4 different answers. The association is already there amongst those who use EmuDeck. Look at the name, for Christ's sake. I remain to be convinced that this isn't a hasty attempt to capitalise on a booming product category and Valve's own work. Look, to hedge things politically for a moment, any product that gets put out into the world lives or dies by its unique offering. The mini PC/gaming handheld space is saturated so intensely that the dew point in the room I'm in is being raised just by me talking about it. EmuDeck as a piece of software couples community-developed emulators with bespoke, user-conscious design to make something genuinely useful. The Steam Deck takes a 20-year-old online storefront and couples it with bespoke hardware and software engineering chops to create a truly desirable gaming product. The EmuDeck machine does nothing more than take a recognisable name built off of another recognisable name, slapping it onto an allegedly AI-generated image of a prototype Dreamcast, before putting an off-the-shelf mini PC inside of it at some stage in late September. It's shaky justification at best. It should come as no surprise then that I'm not convinced at this stage. It would take a pretty significant sea change in the product's roadmap for me to come around to the idea of buying an EmuDeck machine, and that's coming from someone who is obsessed with emulators. I'm hoping this video will serve as a bit of a preemptive counter-strike to the typical "this mini PC is an emulation beast" stuff you tend to see on the topic. Anyway, enough negativity. I'll be chilling out down in the comment section once this video goes live. Let me know what you think about EmuDeck's console that's not a console. That's all I've got for now though, so see ya.